in October last year, I made a video going over 10 skins that I want to see in Star Wars Hunters, and for those of you who didn't see that video, here's a reminder of what those skins were. So in today's video, I essentially want to continue that video and make it into a regular series like I'm doing for 10 Hunters and 10 maps I want to see. So today I have 10 more skins that I want to see come to Star Wars Hunters, but before I get into all of that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on to never miss a piece of Star Wars Hunters content. Now the first few are all going to be quite similar, but the first one is I want to see a Rebel pilot skin for Zayna for all of the variants. So the X-Wing, Y-Wing, A-Wing and B-Wing pilots, we know that they all have different helmets, so it'd be cool to get a different type of flight suit and obviously different helmet variants for Zayna with all 4 of those ships. And obviously with Zayna being a Rebellion veteran and New Republic hero, it makes sense that she'd get skins like this. And like I said, the first few skins are in a similar fashion. So for number 2, I then have those same Rebel pilot variants but for Sprocket. Sprocket's a character that has a skin for both the ship and the pilot of whatever ship it is. So we've already seen this for Iron Squadron with the Mark Matin skin and the Iron Squadron ship, as well as the Cloud Car pilot and ship as well. So I'd love to see Sprocket get Rebel pilot outfits for the X-Wing, Y-Wing, A-Wing and B-Wing variants, and then his chair can then actually be based on the ships. So again, X-Wing, Y-Wing, A-Wing, B-Wing, because I think that would be really cool. Next is a skin for J3DI, which once again is based on an X-Wing pilot this time, not so much the others because we already have an X-Wing for J3 which looks absolutely insane, and I think this is potentially because J3's got skins inspired by Jedi and their ships, and obviously Luke Skywalker's main ship was an X-Wing, so I think it would then also be really cool to have an X-Wing pilot skin for J3 with his blue lightsaber, because then at that point you'll basically pilot Luke, which is obviously how we saw him in episode 5, so I think that would be really cool. Number 4 is a skin for J3DI once again. In the video I did before, I wanted a Plo Koon skin for him, but like I said, J3 can have skins inspired by Jedi's ships as well, so naturally if we have a Plo Koon skin, I would love to see a skin inspired by Plo Koon's Delta 7, which I'd say is definitely one of my favourite looking Delta 7s. Next is a skin for Diego, which is inspired by Cobb Vanth. Now Diego's very much a western inspired gunslinger, so Cad Bane was perfect for him in the last video, and Cobb Vanth is very much one of those western sheriff type of characters as well, so I think that would also be perfect for Diego. And it wasn't until literally just a second ago that I'm recording this that I thought the fact that Cad Bane shot Cobb Vanth in the Book of Boba Fett makes this even more perfect, so I'd definitely be keen to see that. To start the second half of this video, the next skin I want to see is a Gundark inspired skin for Char. Now Char has animal skulls on his back, as he is clearly some animal hunter. Now the default skull on his back is the skull of a Nexu, and he does also have a Ravanak as well on his back in one of his skins, which is the big beast that almost took down the Razor Crest in the very first episode of The Mandalorian. And given that one of the teams in Star Wars Hunters is the Gundarks, it would be cool to have a Gundark inspired skin for him. In at number 7 would then be an Imperial officer skin for Sentinel. Now Sentinel is obviously normally a stormtrooper, and he's got many different stormtrooper variants, and I'd love to see more of them, but I think it would also be quite cool to see Sentinel with his helmet off and in officer attire, because there's plenty of skins in that kind of thing that they could do, and I doubt they're going to add some Imperial officer hunter to the game, so I think it would be best to make use of Sentinel for these types of skins. Next is an Obadiah skin for Imara Vex. Now Obadiah obviously is a planet, so it'd just be cool to get some kind of reference to that inner skin, like we did for the most recent Nar Shaddaa one. Now Nar Shaddaa is very synonymous with crime syndicates and things like that, so it would be quite cool to get skins for Imara that's sort of inspired by either the planets that are notable with certain crime syndicates, and given that Obadiah was the main home of the Pike Syndicate, which is obviously one of the biggest that we know of in Star Wars, I think it would be really cool to see this. Number 9 then is a skin for Reeve, and this would be based off of Count Dooku. I think it would be really cool to see Reeve with some big cloak, and Count Dooku is no doubt one of the most famous people in the galaxy, even years and years after his death, given that he did lead the entire Separatists during the Clone Wars, and obviously he was a Sith Lord, so it makes sense for Reeve to get a skin based off of him. Now finally is a skin for Scorer. Now in the last video I said I wanted a skin based off of Greedo. Now this one is another skin for Greedo, but this time it's inspired by the OG just sort of green action figure for Greedo that we got many years ago. Now I don't know the story behind the whole green figure thing, but it is a thing. I do have a Funko of that green Greedo somewhere, so I think it would be perfect for Scorer to get a skin inspired by it. Anyway guys, there are 10 more skins that I would like to see come to Star Wars Hunters. Let me know what other skins you'd like to see come to the game, and within the next sort of month or so I'll probably have another video like this up and about, depending on any news we get on the game. But that is it from me today. Thank you all very much for watching, and may the force be with you always.